Cent Podcast.
Hey everybody, this is Matthew, and Rizzo and I are back with a really special hybrid Cent Spotlight and special interview. This week we're really excited to have a conversation with the infamous, the man, the myth, the legend, Connie Digital. And we talked about a lot. We started off the show talking about how Connie is able to get into areas so early. We also talk about the impact of adopting his own social money, Hue, what some of the main success cases have been with that. We get a little technical talking about Pinata and IPFS and why new artists may want to consider starting their own smart contract when they come into crypto art. We also talk about some of the future plans that Connie has as they relate to music and songwriting. We talk about virtual reality worlds. We tease a really dope sounding project that Connie has in the works with No Shots. And we catch up after our meetup in February over at NFT.NYC. And at the very end, Connie drops some awesome news for listeners. So make sure you listen to the end of this podcast because there's a really special announcement that any Hue fans won't want to miss. So we're really excited that Connie got on our show. He doesn't do podcasts at all. So we're quite honored and humbled to have him as a guest. So without further ado, please enjoy our conversation with Connie Digital. Okay, we're live. This is Matthew, and I'm back with Rizzo, and we have a really special spotlight / interview / epic conversation that's about to unfold. We are with the man, the myth, the legend, Connie Digital. Welcome to the show, Connie.
Hey, thank you.
So I know everyone knows of you, but I think it'd be really cool to have an introduction about what you've been doing in the space so that the folks at home can get a better, deeper, richer understanding about who Connie Digital is.
Sure. So I guess I'm a lot of things. I do a lot of things, rather. Digital artist, I think, is what a lot of people in the crypto space know me for. But I'm also a songwriter. I'm also a writer and an editor as well. I've actually been around the crypto space for a few years now, man. Like I started learning about Bitcoin back in 2013, and I started working in the space in 2014 with a couple of different projects. Some people may know. One of them was actually a podcast, Epicenter Bitcoin is what it used to be called, but I think it's just called Epicenter now. So shout out to Sebastian and Brian and Mayhair and the guys over there. And I also did some work with other projects in the space. I did some writing for Cointelegraph. So I've been around for a good while. But last year is when I kind of jumped into the whole NFT art craze. And like I said, I think a lot of people know me from creating art in that way. But as a young kid, I also I wrote songs growing up. I've been writing songs since the age of 12. I was big into fashion. I had my own fashion line back in the day. I used to sell custom painted T-shirts and jeans and hats out the barbershop and out to school and all types of stuff. And I thought I was going to be a big fashion designer after high school, and got accepted to one of the top universities in the country. But that didn't really pan out too much. And I guess life had, a different path for me. But nonetheless, I'm still doing my art. I'm still creating. And I'm just happy to be on the podcast, guys. I'm willing to talk about any and everything. So,
dude, I'm trying not to go like super fanboy, like I with like NBA Top Shot. But you're one of my favorite dudes in the space, man. And we connected in NFT.NYC. And one of my favorite things of yours that I've always been a super fan of is the fact that you're willing to kick all the tires, throw everything at the wall to see what sticks. And I really felt you were like the pioneer of this social currency movement and everything that people are continuing to like flock to and glom onto and everything. And I never really had the chance to ask you, man. And I've always been like very, very curious. Like you've done a lot of experiments with your own Hue, social currency and everything. Were you just literally like sitting in your basement coming up with ideas like on your own, or were you like picking other people's brains, or like I've always joked around that you could see like the fourth dimension before anyone got there and everything. But I'm curious to know, like, what's your process, man? Like, what have you got cooking over there that you're able to be ahead of the curve on all these things?
Well, that's definitely a loaded question, but so I wanted to say this too. Shout out to the guys at Roll. Shout out to Bradley and Sid, and shout out to your listeners too. I wanted to say, stick around to the end of this episode. I'm going to tell everybody how they can get some Hue if they want to get their hands on some Hue. So I'll be giving a link out at the end, so you have to stay tuned. But also, the guys, Bradley actually came to me. He sent me a email, and he told me about his platform and what they were doing, and sent me some links to some articles to read up about social money and the concept and the company. And so I did, and I seen some of the investors who were involved, and I seen the team that was involved, and I thought it was interesting. I know something like this was, tried in the past, but not as an ERC 20 token. So they already had some people on the platform when I came on, but it wasn't anything art-based. I think there was a musician on there, and I think there was a lady on there who does ASMR videos and things like that. So when I was conceptualizing what I would do to contribute to the platform, it had to be art-centric because that's what I was doing at the time. And the way it was pitched to me was almost like a reward token, like a loyalty point to, reward your fans for social actions, whether that's, liking and retweeting a tweet or commenting on a post or subscribing to a newsletter, or whatever it was. Social actions, reward your fans, boom. So I had to come up with a name. Bradley asked me, so, if you had your own token, what would you call it? And I was like, Hue. And the reason why I chose Hue is because it's 3 letters and it's just short. It's to the point. Everybody knows what Hue is. It's a word already, that sort of thing. It ties to art. I was just like, man, that's perfect. So I created the symbol for it. And then I just had to figure out how to launch it, how to present it to everybody. And I think the first thing I did was drop some Hue inside my Cryptovoxels gallery at the time. And I had the shout out wall going, and people seemed to take to it. And since then, man, there's just been a constant sort of way of distributing it and trying to find creative ways to get it into the wallets of people. So
I see you as like being the front runner for popularizing that, especially within the crypto art space, the use of social currency, and really kind of like bigging up the Roll project. For the longest time, I still associate them mainly with crypto artists using social money to promote their work and everything like that. But I'm curious on your end, like after you started integrating Hue, and then I love how consistent you are with your giveaways, and for like your newsletter that I subscribe to, I always look to the bottom for the additions to make sure I can scoop some Hue. Like it's like a really powerful incentive, actually, funny enough. But for you as a creator, are you seeing like increased engagement since you have been incorporating and created your social money Hue?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think it's an interesting subject matter. And I think crypto incentivized social actions specifically are underutilized, right? So using social money, I'm able to drive traffic or certain results that I'm looking for. And I'll give you an example, right? So yesterday I dropped a guest blog post. Shout out to Pinata. We dropped a post on their Medium publication yesterday in regards to IPFS and NFTs and digital art. And so they sent out a tweet to promote the article. And so to push it further and have further reach, I use Hue to incentivize the community to like it, to retweet it, so that we have further exposure, so that I can build up the number of views and the number of reads and, the number of claps on Medium, what have you. So I think using social money as a form of incentive is awesome. Like I said, driving traffic to either my website or to Cryptovoxels or to whatever I have going on. I always see an uptick when people know that they'll be rewarded for participating and helping and taking action.
Yeah. I believe it, man. I feel like, I mean, I've, been lurking on the Roll Discord and everything, and seeing the uptick in engagement of people who are offering social currency. Do you feel like there's like is it basically for likes and retweets that you get the best bang for the buck, so to speak? Or like, for example, I have a human.eth address of yours, and I'm pretty sure I've profited on it on this point. I was like one of the early ones to get it for like 600 Hugh, and I'm pretty sure I've eclipsed that. So I'm like, I'm a negative in Connie's eyes. He's like absolutely losing money on me. So I'm like, in your opinion, with the social currency, like, and I respect it that you're, trying a lot of different things with it, and I feel like that's the only way you feel. Or that's the only way you figure out what works. Is it mostly like the reward as a reward token for like likes, retweets, posts, that kind of thing that you've seen the most success with it?
Maybe it might be because that's what I've been using it the most for, I think. Like you mentioned, the Roll Discord server, a lot of that goes on in there, but I think that's really just scratching the surface. I mean, it really could be used for any and everything. Like I said earlier, the people who listen to this whole episode have an opportunity to earn some Hue just for listening, right? So there are different ways people can earn these tokens. I think it just takes some creativity and some just initiative to try something new and different. The Twitter aspect of it is great. Hopefully the guys over at Roll will implement some sort of way to add social media posts into their platform where people can just log on to Roll and see what's available and find ways to earn tokens by sharing things on social media, something along those lines. But that's, again, just scratching the surface. You can really use it to do all types of things, I think.
Dude, I'm excited to be part of your like new experiment with our podcast. Sorry, man, go ahead.
One of the main strengths of Hue is the fact that it is actually valuable. You can use Hue for many different things. Like you have your own rewards that you have listed over in Roll. But the other dope thing that I've discovered folks are engaging with Hue with is that they're actually listing their own work and denominating and selling it in Hue. Like, for example, Urban, the lens-based artist, I actually scooped 2 of his pieces. I could only scoop his pieces if I had Hue. But then I was talking with Paola the other day, and she's listing like several of her works over on her OpenSea marketplace in Hue as well. And I asked her, I was like, why Hue? Like did Connie put you up to this or something like that?
No.
and she's like, absolutely not. Like, it's a great community. I feel like it's a really great association to have. I feel like that is something exciting. And I haven't seen many other creators have that same sort of, I guess, reaction with people outside of themselves in terms of like listing their products in their own social currency. But the more that people do that, the more I feel like that acceptance with people actually valuing and assigning more value to the social currency than already exists. So I feel like that trend is amazing. And I've been quite surprised to see that start to proliferate.
Yeah, absolutely. Me too. I was quite surprised, and I'm very appreciative and thankful for each and everyone who has implemented Hue on their OpenSea contract. So that's really the thing. It's like if you have your own contract on OpenSea and you want to accept Hue, you can. And the people that do, like I said, I'm super thankful for it. I think we're up over 20 contracts now, 20 storefronts on OpenSea that are accepting Hue, including like Marble Cards, the Blockchain Art Exchange. Shout out to Sasha Bailey. So yeah, man, it's really exciting.
Dude, I know. I keep like looking at stuff on OpenSea, like the totally unrelated projects, and they're only accepting Hue. I'm like, what the fuck, man? I can't escape Connie if I tried.
Yes.
I mean that it's fantastic, man. I mean, it's to your credit as a grinder and a hustler and everything. Dude, I read through your article and everything on IPFS and Pinata, and I'm curious to hear like the nitty gritty on that and everything, because my understanding, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, because it seems like you have a way deeper understanding of this than I do, but my understanding is IPFS is essentially like a temporary solution to a larger problem, and Pinata has made that temporary solution like much more accessible for people. But clear the air for me, man. Maybe I'm like going down the wrong road here.
No, so I want to preface this by saying I am not a dev, right? I don't know how to code or any of that stuff, right? So my knowledge base is very limited, but I did do some research clearly to have written this article. But from my understanding, all the major platforms that are doing NFT art, super rare, known origin, makerspace, etc., are using IPFS as a solution to store the artwork, right? But when you are minting on your own personal smart contract, you don't really have that option. And Pinata is an option for people who are kind of, doing their own thing. I'm sure there are other options. I think the major platforms use Infura, I think is how you say it. And there may be some other options, but personally, I've used Pinata. I think it's just seamless and easy to do. Now, so long as you keep the artwork or the file pinned to IPFS, it should stay there indefinitely and you shouldn't have a problem, from my understanding. But I don't know. As far as like a long-term solution, I think the guys over, you guys actually, Rizzle, at N42, right? You guys are doing something with Arweave or...
NFT 42. We're essentially trying to put everything on the blockchain and going to release a decentralized minting platform that does that. But that is not out yet. And my understanding is at this point, IPFS and probably streamlining that procedure with Pinata makes the most sense for a lot of people. So can you, like, if I'm an artist, can you like give me like a super explain it like I'm five? Like if I don't like, do I need like a second level of understanding to understand why IPFS and Pinata is important, or like is there like a layman's terms way to break it down?
Well, it's important because it stores your file indefinitely, right? So if you're selling an NFT to a collector, the collector wants to know that their file that they purchase or the artwork that they purchase will be around, right? So like if you have your file just stored on your hard drive or in your personal Google Cloud account or whatever, right? It's limited, right? So, and it's centralized, but using something like IPFS through Pinata gives a collector some security and assurity that this digital file that they purchase has been pinned to IPFS and can potentially be there indefinitely. So I think from a collector's point of view, that's very valuable and very important. And from an artist's perspective, I think that's something that you should want to do because I think it's just right to do. There's actually another article that I included at the bottom of my article that Kyle Tutt from Pinata wrote that kind of touches on who's responsible for the data. So, this is all new stuff and people are trying to figure out what works best. But the idea being that if I upload my digital art to IPFS and I sell my NFT token to a collector, like I can guarantee the collector that I'll keep it pinned for X amount of time, say 3-5 years. And then after that time, it'll be the collector's responsibility to ensure the longevity of the pin. So I think there'll be a way on Pinata specifically to transfer the pinning capability. I'm not sure exactly. I don't want to misspeak with what they have planned, but sort of along those lines where the collector eventually will be responsible for maintaining and keeping the file alive.
We were just talking about how, as time goes on, the artists who like almost solely lived on one or two of these sites have now started branching out and, quote unquote, going rogue and doing their own thing. So I feel like this is a very important concept for a lot of people who, have been in this space long enough to get past like the first layer of, popular platforms and are now interested in creating a brand for themselves outside of that and everything. So, this is important information for sure.
I agree.
I really enjoyed the article. I feel like this announcement made it more accessible for, especially if I'm not for you, but for other creators who like are thinking about getting into crypto art, but maybe thinking about going with a platform primarily just because it's easier, but having this sort of knowledge and then just like the value of having your own smart contract that you can use to mint your work, and then understanding tools like Pinata, you're just giving the individual creators more power to make the better choice or the best choice for them. So, man, are you going to keep writing these articles? Like, is this a one-off deal with you and Pinata? Because I feel like your writing, your insight in the space is so clarifying and valuable to the individual creators out there that I would hope you would keep writing in this sort of technical capacity to help give folks a better understanding of everything.
No, I appreciate that. The feedback has been awesome. Like, I've been getting a lot of good feedback for the article. And I don't know, could it be a one-off? Maybe, but I like to write. I like to create, in various forms. So we'll see. The Pinata guys came to me with the opportunity, so I kind of ran with it. But we'll see what happens next.
Dude, I'm curious to know how you see yourself in this space. I mean, obviously you've got like a myriad of talents, legitimately, and a lot of stuff you've been, tinkering with and practicing with for a long time. And maybe the answer is just like, you're intrinsically an artist and expressing yourself through like various mediums and everything. But I'm curious to know, like, where do you have like one point where your passions like really lie? Like, do you like doing all this stuff, but you deep down at heart would love to be like a professional musician or something like that? I mean, you got skill sets and knowledge in all these areas, and have sort of like pushed out, some stuff in a little bit of everything. Like, what, if the decision was on the table for you to make the call, what would you like to be doing? Or is this something along the lines of what you would like to be doing?
Wow. That's a really tough question, actually, because I don't necessarily have an answer, because I'm into so many different things and I enjoy doing all of it, really. Writing, I guess, less than other things, but songwriting probably the most. I love writing songs. I love listening to music and just coming up with concepts and putting words together. And the art too. See, actually what happened was, back in the day when I would write music, right, I had to create the artwork for my song. So that synergy between those two things, it was really dope to me. And also, this is a cool segue. I have a collaboration song coming out called Social Money with the guys from Roll. It's myself, Little B, and a few other people. We collaborated on a song that should be coming out. I don't know when, but you guys can definitely look out for that. But yeah, man, I think probably music and the art that's associated with it. I would love to do music videos. I'm not really big into being in front of the camera, but I'm trying to get over that. I'm also really not big into, doing audio, but I'm trying to get over that as well. So I don't know, man. I'm still trying to figure it out myself.
And then, well, I know a couple other people are trying to put on like concerts in Cryptovoxels. I'm not sure if the same thing is happening over in DecentralLand. Have you received any contact or invitations to kind of get together and do any of these performances in the virtual world?
He gets like 3 from me a day.
Yeah, Rizzo keeps harassing me, man.
I'm not going to stop, dude. So go ahead. You can continue with this conversation.
Hilarious. As in crypto is asking me to do like a freestyle thing in Cryptovoxels, but it's like, man, I'm not a battle rapper for one. No offense to anybody who is a battle rapper. I love battle rappers, but the audio in Cryptovoxels, I don't think it's up to par yet. Sometimes you hear the person, sometimes you don't. So I don't know that it's technically where it should be. But yeah, outside of Rizzo and Ez, I haven't really had any offers. So,
dude, once we get the audio nailed down, then all you need to beat is Ez, and then the battle is over, man. But I wouldn't sell him short either, because if he knows he's going to be on stage, you better believe he's going to be practicing from like now till then.
Yeah, for sure.
No, for real, man. I mean, I would like to think that the opportunities will present themselves for people like yourself in the virtual space before not too long, because more and more people are flocking into that area and looking for stuff like that. So I'm gonna keep harassing you, dude, especially like on the heels of this, knowing that that's what you're most interested in and everything.
Okay.
But yeah, go ahead, man.
Yeah. So I mean, I just want to kind of touch on what you're doing over in the virtual reality worlds. So because you were also like a trailblazer in my eyes in that regard too. You mentioned when you started with Hue, your social currency, one of the first early applications of that was to incentivize folks on Cent and anywhere to come into your Cryptovoxel parcel and then sign that wall. Like that was so dope. That was my first interaction with the social currency. That was still early days and like figuring out what's going on with Cryptovoxels. And you really, I think, again, I attribute the huge build out and just very recent success, an explosion of popularity in our small niche in Cryptovoxels to you, and like starting that event where you had multiple people in world at the same time, seeing one another perform that like unique action of trying to sign your wall. Like that was somehow special. It was cool. Because it was like the first time that's ever been done, as far as I know. But I know recently you've been doing a lot of stuff over in DecentralLand. So I'm just curious your take, like the state of virtual reality, DecentralLand versus Cryptovoxels versus maybe like project like Sandbox that's coming up on the radar. Just what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, great question.
Yeah, that is a really good question. I think it's all exciting. I think it's all new and fresh and fun, and it's exciting to see everybody like jump in and try to figure out what's going on and try to create stuff and share it with everybody. I think it's exciting, man. Personally, from an aesthetic point of view, I like DecentralLand better than Sandbox and Cryptovoxels, and I can never say the name Somnium Space. Is that right?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, I just think DecentralLand has a better aesthetic for me, and it's more built out. But I like Cryptovoxels for the fact that I'm in more control, right? So if you don't have land on DecentralLand, which is pretty expensive nowadays, and you're not really sure how to build on their builder, and that sort of, it could be very challenging, and there's a barrier to entry for people to create in that world. But with Cryptovoxels, it's more accessible, and people are able to. It's, like Minecraft in a sense, right? So I really like that aspect of Cryptovoxels. And as we've been seeing, like you guys keep crashing the platform. Like you have your work in progress and different things going on, and they can't really host all those people at the same time. So clearly there's some scaling issues that need to be fixed, which I'm sure they will. But man, I think it's cool for the space overall just to explore and experiment and try everything.
Dude, so next like 3 to 6 months, what are you focusing most of your time and attention on?
That's a good question. I would like to say music. I really would. My biggest hurdle with that is just production, and because I don't actually create the beats. I'm just the songwriter and the recording artist, but if I can get some production, and I would love to make some more MP4 NFTs.
Yeah.
I think those are very underutilized right now as well.
Totally.
Yeah. So I would like to do more of that, man. But I also have something, shout out to No Shot. We're working on something pretty cool too. Also next month, there's like the consensus from the conference from CoinDesk. Because of the state of the world, there's not actually going to be a physical event. So it's going to be a virtual sort of thing. And there's going to be a tour, I believe. I don't know how much I can say, but I'm working with some people in regards to helping out with that conference. So.
Fair enough, man. I saw the preview that you had teased that looked like it was going to be hosted in DecentralLand, or at least it was a teaser, like in DecentralLand style.
Oh, no. See, I think you're talking about CoinFest. Yeah, that's something.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, man. I think you're right.
Yep. CoinFest, that was definitely in DecentralLand. That was a week or two ago.
And were you a part of that, or were you there for that? I did not have a chance to pop in, and I'm curious to know how that went and what kind of turnout they had for something like that.
Yeah, man. I was lucky enough to have the opportunity to participate with one of the venues. So basically what happened was the convention happened over multiple days. I think it started like on March 31st and it ended around April 3rd or 4th. So it was multiple days, and they were hosting different events in multiple venues. And I had the opportunity to create some art and display it in the Sugar Club, which is actually one of the cooler venues in Decentraland. It's a nightclub. You can go there. You can listen to music. You can have your avatar dance with other avatars and chat and check out some art. It's pretty fascinating. So.
Well, so give us like the lowdown, man. What did they like based on your experience with that event? Like, what did they do right, and what areas of improvement are there, open for?
Well, actually, so one of the things I would critique, they've actually already implemented since CoinFest has ended, which is actually a events calendar. So if you go to, I think it's events.decentraland.org, there's now a whole web page full of different events, and you can schedule your own event, and you can have people RSVP with their avatars, and you can get a count of how many people are going to attend. And there's a link to easily jump in world when the time arrives. And so launching the whole events page, I think, was a needed thing for CoinFest. It just didn't happen in time. But besides that, I believe there is audio, in-world audio now for Decentraland. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, those would be my only critiques, really.
In terms of participation, like number of folks that attended that in-world, do you have any insight into those numbers during the course of that event?
For the overall event, which spanned a couple of days, I don't. I think a gentleman, he's on Twitter. He's also on YouTube. He has a couple different profiles. It's either DCL Blogger or DCL Plaza. He put out a video detailing like some of the statistics behind attendance for the CoinFest event, because he was actually part of helping launch the whole thing. But I do know from the people over at Sugar Club, she sent me a message saying there were 60 or 70 people on 2 different servers at one particular time, which I thought was pretty cool.
It was just listening to Cody talk about his recent event in Cryptovoxels, the Stand Get Out or whatever. He said that it was around over 5,000 folks stopped throughout that week. That was massive.
Yeah, throughout the course of the weekend or something. Yeah, crazy.
Yeah, when he dropped that figure, I was like, "Holy f!" Like I knew there was a lot of people there. I had no idea it reached that much. Which is small beans for like any other like website, like 5,000 people. Like, what are we talking about? But like right. for an in-world event, like it's pretty huge, and the numbers are only getting bigger. So,
yeah, man, shout out to Cody.
I feel like the rate at which all these events are scaling is like basically exponential compared to months ago and everything like that. So it seems like it's only, regardless of what platform you're hosting your event, and it seems like it's only going to get bigger as like people become more comfortable with the technologies and everything behind it, and ease of access is a thing and everything. Hell yeah, man. Dude, this is so great to catch up with you, man. I feel like it's been like way too long. And we were talking about it before this podcast. It's like, it's only been like 6-7 weeks since we hung out in NFT.NYC, but I feel like everything has changed.
The world has changed.
That's a fair point, man. The world has changed and everything. Has that changed your game at all? Or were you already sort of working from home and doing your thing, and now you're just sort of capitalizing on, the way things have turned out?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it was definitely a work from home situation for me to begin with. So that much hasn't changed. Yeah. But it is crazy, man. Like we were talking about, it feels like forever ago. Like it was less than 2 months ago we had a chance to meet up, and it was such a good time, man. I really enjoyed myself at NFT.NYC. It was really cool to catch up with you guys and meet you in person, and everybody else who was there too. So, but yeah, man, it feels like forever ago.
It may have been like a very fortuitous event, because who knows when the next like in real life event is going to happen again. And now we're all scratching our heads trying to put together, virtual reality shows and pull conventions into Cryptovoxels and DecentralLand and everything like that. So I feel very fortunate to have been able to attend that event and meet so many awesome people, including yourselves and everything, and, have you on here. So, and feel very privileged, man. I know you don't do this very, very often. And you had mentioned earlier that like, audio video is not your thing. So you for it not being your thing, man, you come across like very easy to talk to and very natural. That just means we need to like do more of this shit, dude.
Support that. And
Yeah.
when Connie broached the subject over on Twitter, I was like scrambling to try to get everything together. I know we're all in different time zones, and Rizzo has different commitments, and we're just like, I was like, we got to get him on. We can't miss this window of opportunity.
Clear the calendar. Hell yeah.
But
Yeah,
before we go on, you dropped this and then you kind of moved on really quickly. And I was like, what the F? But No Shot collaboration, like, is there any other seeds that you can plant in people's minds in terms of what to expect with your collaboration with No Shot?
I wish I could. It's his project.
God damn you.
So I'll let him do the honors. But it's coming soon. So look out for No Shot.
That's awesome.
Wow, man, that's so cryptic. Not even like it's going to be really cool or like anything. Just like, yeah.
I mean, we've collaborated in the past. I don't know.
No, dude, I got nothing but respect for No Shot. Yeah, no, I'm with you.
Yeah, man, he's great. It was cool meeting him too, and Colin and Jim. And man, what are we still going to do? Synfest? Is that even possible now, man? Can we like?
If the world comes back to normal, I think that is the plan, though. Like the virtual events are definitely going to be something like a separate extension of what we want to do. But like the real world events, that's where like the secret sauce is. Like meeting up, like we did over in NYC. Like that was awesome. I just feel so privileged again to like kind of thread the needle between everything that's happened since, that we were able to all meet up in New York during that time and share those few days together. Like that's kind of everything. Like in this madness now, just thinking back upon those memories, and again, everyone knew one another before that, but I feel like after that, people were just like these are my brothers. Like, you know what I mean? It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Dude, hell yeah. If Scentfest, if you were like, yo, Scentfest is going to happen tomorrow, I'd be like, all right, I'm there. Booking my flight like right this second. Truly, I mean, that's how impactful that event was. And I agree, man. We all knew each other beforehand and everything, but the bonds you form at something like that are like something different. And my idea for Scentfest is fucking epic, to have it like at an all-inclusive in the Caribbean where people can earn their way there, right? I'm going to show this shit. You can edit this out, dude. But I'm like, Scentfest 2021 should fucking happen because it's going to be dope. And you can hang out with three of us.
Oh, yeah. And yeah, we have the opportunity to shut every night down like we did before. Like, I can't believe multiple nights, like we were last folks standing in New York City. Shit was epic.
Yes, yeah, man. That's exactly the way it should have been. In my head,
yeah,
I'm like, I'm not going, yeah, dude, exactly, right? I'm like, it couldn't have been any better than it ended up there. And this is the result, man. We got Connie Digital on our podcast, exclusive shit that like no other podcast can do but us, because of the relationships we've forged in NFT.NYC, and because we're cool as shit.
Shout out to you, Rizzo.
Thanks, man. Just get on that rap battle, man. Just keep practicing until it's easy.
So did we hit everything that you wanted to cover? Connie, I want to make sure that we shout out everything. You have your hand in so many different projects. I want to make sure each project gets fair due. But I'm kind of curious to hear what this Hue giveaway will be about.
Oh, yeah, man. So everybody who's listening can go to my website, right? So if you go to danky.art/pages, PAGES/podcast. So it's danky.art/pages/podcast. You can get yourself some Hue. It's there now. So it's limited. So first come, first serve.
How many podcasts are on that page?
This is the first podcast. The only podcast.
Hell yeah.
Oh, and also I just want to say shout out to Giselle Flores, because I had an opportunity to do another podcast with one of the guys who helped put on NFT.NYC. And he asked me to do the show, and, you know, I'm not really big on podcast or audio. So I actually turned it down. But in doing so, I gave him some other people who I thought he should speak to, and Giselle being one of them. And she told me, man, it'd be great if you actually did a podcast. I would love to listen and hear what you have to say. So shout out to her. She actually helped inspire me to actually get on here as well. So
Giselle X is awesome. Boom. On that note, man, we can wrap this up to keep this nice and short and sweet for the folks. There's a lot in this episode that we touched on. I'm so excited to, again, just keep watching your creative journey, man, and continue to be inspired by you to just keep trying new things. It's an honor and a privilege. It really is. But dude, thank you for hopping on the show. I hope it's not the last time. I'm sure it's not the last time. And yeah, man, just keep doing your thing.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure being here, and I look forward to doing it again.
Hey everybody, it's Matthew again, and I hope you enjoyed our conversation with Connie Digital as much as we did recording it. Hopefully some of you were able to claim some hue after following the directions that Connie gave at the end. If so, congrats to y'all. And as always, if you haven't yet subscribed to our show, you can click subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. Heading forward, we have James from the Rare Arts Festival and another guest appearance by Jimmy talking about the latest development with Avastars, but also a new project, Infa NFT. On the spotlight front, we have a nice pipeline with creators such as Paola, Brian Brinkman, Sarah Zucker, and Tubador. So look out for all of those to drop in the weeks ahead. If you have any suggestions on guests you'd like to hear, shoot me a message over on Sent or on Twitter at breadcrumbs. And until next time, Sent on.